Hello, my name is Paul Thomas Edward Cusick. I'm an engineer by education, and I do research in every area that universities teach in. What took my attention was this mysterious manuscript called the Voynich manuscript, because it was purchased by a man named Voynich and is held at Yale University in the United States in Connecticut. And it's a manuscript that's traveled the world. And so I prepared this talk called The Decisive Voynich, the Mayan Manuscript. So the Israelites left Egypt in 1450 BC under the leadership of Moses. 40 years later, they settled in the land of Canaan, modern-day Israel. Each of the 12 tribes was given a parcel of land, which the map will be shown later. The tribe of Manasseh was given a large portion on both the east and west sides of the Jordan River. Eventually, there were two kingdoms in Israel, the Jews in the south, Judah and Benjamin, the two tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and the remaining 10 northern tribes. They had two kingdoms, the north and the south. The tribe of Manasseh was the only tribe when they left Israel to go eastward instead of westward, as DNA evidence is confirming from genetics. Manasseh went through Tibet along the Silk Road on their way to North America, traveling the Silk Road. They eventually settled in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. It's in southern Mexico, on the Gulf there. The language they used was Karaite. The Voynich manuscript was written around 1420 AD, as dated by carbon dating. By the Mayans, it was taken as loot when the Spaniards arrived in the New World. They brought the Voynich manuscript back to Spain for Queen Maria, and the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II was educated in Spain, which is how he gained the manuscript. Rudolph gave it to Elizabeth I of England. It went to John Dee's, Elizabeth's astrologer. Eventually it wound up in a bookstore in Italy, where it was purchased by Voynich. The manuscript now resides at Yale University. The introduction. So the Voynich manuscript was written by the Mayans in Tibetan in the 15th century, as indicated by carbon dating. The tribe of Manasseh left Israel and went through India, Tibet, China, and down in North America's Yucatan Peninsula. When the Spaniards invaded Mexico, they took booty with them. They brought the Voynich manuscript back to Queen Maria of Spain. Rudolph II, the Holy Roman Emperor, was educated in Spain as a child. He gave it to Elizabeth I, who had Johnny Dee as her astrologer. He marked Johnny Dee, that is, marked the folio with numbers, which indicated from his penmanship. From Dee, it was sold as a book, sold to a book dealer, where Voynich purchased the copy. The manuscript is written in Tibetan, but was picked up by the tribe of Manasseh as they traveled the Silk Road to Gandhar. So there's the Silk Road. It runs from let's see, it runs from Egypt here. Try red. Egypt and Israel over in this area, all the way through the Middle East and into China, northwest India, and this area is the Tibet, and the road continues down into China, and they left their DNA behind, haplogroup D. That's the tribe of Manasseh. All the other tribes of Israel went northwest, eventually settled as far as Scotland, where the DNA is being shown to be of Jewish descent. And haplogroup D in China went into North America through the Bering Strait and down and populated North America. The tribe of Manasseh went all the way to the Yucatan Peninsula. I'll show a map later. So there's the map of Israel, and we have Manasseh here in the middle. That they had probably the biggest part after Judah, Manasseh and Judah. And there's another version of the same map. The Sea of Galilee up here, and the Dead Sea down here, and this is the River Jordan joining the two. So this is Manasseh's area right here. So the Semites, or the Jews, the Manasseh, spent time in northwest India. They brought the Karaite language with them into the area. I suspect that the Manasseh picked up Tibetan while in Kandahar, which is northwest India, which they brought with them to the Mayan territory all the way in North America. So from Wikipedia we have Brahmi is a system of writing of ancient South Asia that appeared as fully developed universal one in the 3rd century BCE, and its descendants, the Brahmitic scripts, continue to be used today across South and Southeast Asia. The origin of these scripts is still much debated, with most scholars stating that Brahmi was derived from at least influenced by one or more contemporary Semitic scribes, where others favor the idea of an indigenous origin or connection to the much older and as yet undeciphered Indus script of the Indus Valley civilization. That's Gandhar. Proto-Sinaitic, referred to as Sinaitic, Pro-Canaanite. Canaanite's another name for Israel or Palestine. When found in Cana, the North-Semitic alphabet or early alphabetic is considered the earliest trace of alphabetic writing and the common ancestor of both the ancient South Arabian script and the Phoenician alphabet, which led to many modern alphabets, including the Greek alphabet. According to common theory, Canaanites, which would be the tribe of Manasseh, or Hyksos, who spoke a Semitic language, Hebrew, presupposed Egyptian hieroglyphics to construct a different script. This script is attested in a small corpus of inscriptions found, I'm not going to try to say that, in the Sinai, Egypt in the Middle Bronze Age, 2100 to 1500 BC. So that's about the time that Moses left with the Jewish people, the Hebrews. The Voynich manuscript has been radio dated to 1404 to 1438, radiocarbon dated. So the 15th century. The 15th century West Arabic numerals, the numerals we use today, are seen in the Voynich manuscript. The Arabic Gobar numerals were used west of Egypt. The Indian numerals were used east of Egypt. Thus, it fits my theory that the Voynich manuscript comes to Tibet from the Israelite tribe of Manasseh on their way to North America. The Egyptians must have invented algebra. They knew the golden mean, parabola, and the second degree polynomial and the quadratic equation, which is the solution to a polynomial. The Egyptians were well known to have had the zero, or a placeholder, by 1740 BCE. The zero is a numerical, is appearing in the Western Arabic in the 15th century when the Voynich was written. The Israelites picked this information up when they were in Egypt. Manasseh referred to the Tibetans on their way to North America. Moses is dated to be 40, say in 1273 BC. Abraham is 440 years before that, or 1273 to 440 is 1713 BCE. So Joseph's age was 43. The zero was known to the Egyptians in 1740 BC. Manasseh would have learned it when they had taken it to Israel and Tibet. So there's the Brahmi numerals there, and there's the Arabic numerals there. So we now turn to Kandahar, northwest India, or the Indus Valley. they have what were known as Karashite numerals. They run from 1 to 8. And that fits in with the astrotheology mathematics, because the minimum energy is equal to minus 1.25. So 1 over 8 is 1.25. So they may have figured all they needed were 8 digits. It is accepted by all that the Karashoti is a foreign script brought to India from the West. The exact period at which it was imported is unknown. It may have been introduced at the time of the conquest of the Punjab by Darius or earlier, 500 BC. That's when Israel was taken captive, 538 I think it was, to Babylon. So maybe that's when Manasseh left. So the source for that quotation is the History of Hindu Mathematics, Part 2. So here we have a table from that History of Hindu Mathematics, and the numeral forms in the modern Hebrew script. So up here we have Nagari, it's hard to see, I know, and Tibetan. This is what we have here. And there it is, close-up of that bottom line. So the comparison between the numerals here and the Hindu script. The Nagari is the script used in northern India next to Tibet. The Karashite script, also spelled Karashuti or Karashushi, was an ancient Indo-Iranian script used by the various peoples in present-day Pakistan and eastern Afghanistan. It was used in Central Asia as well. So Gandhar is in eastern Afghanistan today. It's in that area. And it was introduced by the middle of the 3rd century BCE or possibly the 4th century BCE. So the 4th century would be the 300s of BC. And so it may have taken some time for the tribe of Manasseh to move all the way from Israel to northwest India or Kandahar. It was also used in the Rakata and other empires along the Silk Road. There is some evidence it may have survived until the 7th century in Turkestan. So the parental system, there you have your Egyptian hieroglyphics. So we know that the tribe of Manasseh spent time in Egypt, of course, with the Israelis. They were the Israelis. And then you have Proto-Sinaitic script, Phoenician alphabet, and Aramaic. Interesting that Jesus spoke Aramaic. So the ancient Aramaic alphabet was adapted by Armenians from the Phoenician alphabet and became a distinct script of the 8th century BC. It was used to write the Aramaic language, and it displaced the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, itself a derivative of the Phoenician alphabet for the writing of Hebrew. And Jesus was thought to have spoken Aramaic. So the author, me, has deciphered that the Minoan tablets that are actually the 10 Commandments of Moses, there are 9 key characters in the Egyptian demotic shown in the figure following. The Rosetta Stone, deciphered by Thomas Young, a polymath, shows that the Egyptians used a demotic script. So there's the 10 Commandments. There's 3 have to do with duty to God, and 7 have to do with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have to do with neighbor, and 2 have to do with the self. So I deciphered it from the Minoan tablet. These are the symbols over here on the side. And so it's actually the 10 Commandments. One of the tablets is broken in 2. It says in the Bible that Moses broke one of the tablets over his knee. So here we have the Rosetta Stone, and the same symbolism used in this Egyptian demotic is the same similar symbols that were used in the previous slide. So now we move to North America, and there's the Cherokee alphabet. Native North American Indians show that their alphabet is like the Tibetan alphabet, figure 9 and 10. These languages, Cherokee, Tibetan, Hebrew, and the Mayans all stem from the same Egyptian Demotic. So there's the Cherokee, and we have these same from the Ten Commandments: to killing your neighbor, respect, woman, goods, falsehood, no, and parents. And those are the words that are used in the Ten Commandments. And the Cherokee said the same. So the Mayans, I don't know, I tried to figure out if you get the word Manasseh from Mayans, maybe pronounce Mayanessa, Mayanessa. Traveled from Israel to Tibet where they left their DNA behind, haplogroup D. They crossed the Bering Strait and made their way south to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. I'll have a map here for you. They showed the technology to build pyramids as the Hebrews did while in Egypt. The Mayans were far more advanced than the cultures around them, the scholars say. Note that in the illustrations of the Voynich, the avocado is featured. I'll show a picture of that. It is grown in Mayan territory in the Yucatan of Mexico. The Voynich manuscript is a book written in Tibetan language while the tribe of Manasseh brought it to Mexico. So there's, excuse me, there is the Yucatan Peninsula. So we have the Mayans all in this area. I'll show another map here in a second. And this is where the avocado was growing, in this portion here. The Mayans lived in all this area here. So the Voynich manuscript has illustrations of the avocado plant in the folio. The avocado is grown in the Mayan territory. There are copious illustrations of various plants in the folio. Mayan territory that I just showed you on the map is a rainforest which has an abundance of plants. Since radiocarbon dating places the Voynich manuscript around 1420, it must have been written by the Mayan culture when they were long established in North America. So there's the avocado. This piece is avocado, and that comes right out of the Mayan. These are the roots there. That comes right out of that's a page out of the folio of the Voynich manuscript. So there's the map. This is Mexico up here, and this is the Yucatan Peninsula here, Mayan territory. And this is where the avocado was growing. And this was all jungle, and this was more arid. John Dee, astrologer to England's Elizabeth I, numbered the Voynich folio. His penmanship is compared to a known source of his handwriting. We see that he must have gotten the Voynich from Elizabeth I, who got it from Rudolph II, the Holy Roman Emperor. So there's the handwriting, and you can see if I pick one of the numbers here. Let's see, there's a 4 here. The way the 4 is written, we follow it up, and it's the same 4. It's the same with 1 and 1. All those red circles and lines indicate that the sample on the left matches the sample on the right. That's John Dee's handwriting. So he's the one who had possession of this manuscript. So the conclusion on this brief talk is that the Voynich manuscript was written by the Mayans, the Israeli tribe of Manasseh, in a language of Tibetan that they picked up while on the way on the Silk Road in northwest India, Kandahar. The manuscript was taken as booty to Spain, where it went into the hands of the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, who subsequently gave it to Elizabeth of England, who gave it to John Dee. From there, it made its way to an Italian bookstore where Voynich purchased it and donated it to Yale University. And there's some references if you're interested. So thank you very much. And I hope you've enjoyed this talk. It's still a little rough, I realize, but it's hard deciphering the world's most difficult manuscript. Anyway, thanks for listening.